GSL.
Is that really like? Should that really be in a song that somebody being tortured by fire like that? Like I think that's kind of strange.
I'm playing all the instruments too. Some with my hands, some with my feet. Then I cast the game. That's how this whole show works, Wolf. So we're gonna go on our second best of 3 here. It's gonna be Stats against Life. Stats, a really fun Protoss player to watch. Life, I would say, easily one of the most popular StarCraft II players of all time. The GSL Royal Rotor. And, oh, sorry, go ahead, please.
I was just going to say, last time we saw these two face off, I believe I was casting with you. And if I remember correctly, I think it was last today, like, was Stats making like 29 Tempests. Remember this game on Habitation Station? Yeah. Where it's like, can Zerg defeat 29 Tempests? I'm pretty sure he can't. That's how Stats like science matchup.
Yeah. Life's got some of the best harass. In StarCraft II, his lane control early on is very good. He's very aggressive. He does know how to carry it out in the late game.
Yeah.
Stats is another one of the many Protoss players we have in Korea who have been doing well overall.
Stats is the type of player to play kind of defensively and macro his way forward, whereas Life is the type of player to try to get ahead by aggression, try to attack his opponent, and chip away at him.
And this series is about to begin here. Stats against Life. Game number 1 is underway. In the bottom right, we have our only Protoss player in this group.
KT rostered Stats.
In the upper left, we have our Zerg.
StarTale Life.
Life.
Excuse me.
Sorry, Tastes.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was the extractor. I didn't know.
Wow. Now I know. Now I know you farted tasteless. I mean,
It sounds like an extractor being canceled.
Yeah, I didn't hear it, but now I know.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
it shows up in game. Where's Waldo?
It's Waldo, man.
I found him. Have you?
I can't see him. Where is he?
Is that the GSL? Did you have Where's Waldo books when you were younger?
All through like I'd say kindergarten to like 3rd grade, there was always like a box of Where's Waldo books. Like
they were the best, man.
There was always like when the teacher would tell a student that like finished school like their work early, like me, because I was like really good at multiplication tables. Like, always, you have to get a book from the library.
Wolf, smart kid plug over here. He's like, I was just really good at multiplication tables. But anyways, on to Where's Waldo.
So they always like, you have to get a book from the library. So when I was in
6 times 7 go.
Well, it's just second.
Make someone do math.
Wait, 6 times 7, 42, man. But anyway,
well done.
Back to the story.
I don't know if you're right. I don't know my multiplication tables. I have calculators. I don't need that stuff. Sorry, go ahead. What were you saying?
Well, I remember my teacher, my 2nd grade teacher, always make me go get a book. She'd be like, go to the library. I want you to come back with a book. So I'd go and I'd get Nintendo Power, of course. Every guy was like, that's not a real book.
That's not a book.
So then I'd go get Where's Waldo.
Well, Where's Waldo? Where there's like, no words.
She's like, I'm like, I just want to have fun.
Knowing my youth growing up, I'm sure most teachers probably thought Where's Waldo was more of a book than Nintendo Power.
Most of my
reading, well, this book, Where's Waldo, has no words in it. I just want to point out you can't really read it.
Most of my reading in 2nd grade came from the Star Fox 64 audio, as well as the audio from Banjo-Kazooie. So that's where I practiced most of my reading and spelling.
Wow, man, that's pretty bad, man. Banjo-Kazooie, that's a great old game.
Yeah,
By the way, for this game here real fast, we have the Protoss doing a really standard fast expand. Gateway variation, then Nexus after that. Zerg just doing a triple expand, so we got to wait here. We're waiting for the core to get done, and for the Zerg to stop making drones, then we'll have more to tell you guys.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's pretty standard openings here so far. Quick 3rd base for Life, and no sort of pressure for Stats. In fact, no scouting either.
Yeah.
So he's just playing this blind, which is fair for the map. Most Zergs like to play macro-rated styles on Sejong.
So you were like the Nintendo 64.
Yeah, that was my first system that was like owned by me.
Does it make sense for the age difference here? Because for my generation, I guess it was just Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis,
right?
Yeah, Sega Genesis.
For me, it was like PlayStation and N64 and hold that thought.
Oh, nice control here was by Stats. Catch him if you can. And he does. Wow. Okay, he does catch him. Gets one probe. And then this Ling is going to try to get into the main here.
Should not get any skill.
Oh, my God.
Nice deny there. Stargate goes up.
Yeah. Zerg none the wiser to that. He has not spotted the Stargate. Can't confirm it just yet. Stalker and Zealot going to come out here and put a little bit of pressure on. He wants to make Zerg make a few Lings, but Zerg's actually already making 14.
Yeah, actually, he's definitely got a plan with this. How many Lings will he actually go up to is the question.
Well, he should have seen. It looked like Protoss actually went around the Overlord's vision there to move back around, which was really smart. And so from here, Zerg just drones up.
Yeah.
But both players are completely safe. Let's see with the Stargate. Is he going to get an Oracle? Oracle openings have been really popular nowadays.
They're the most popular by far, and it looks like that is what it's going to be.
Yep.
So he's going to send that Oracle across the map, try to do some harassment. Then he's going to use it to defend the third base while he gets Void Rays out. That's the most common way. There is also an all-in you can do with just 1 or 2 Oracles and a bunch of gates, but he's added 4 gases, so it's very unlikely to see a variation of that. The Overlord has seen everything, by the way, when it comes to the gases. Doesn't know about the Oracle just yet. We'll get to that information very soon. Actually, no, he won't. It's going to fly outside of the Overlord's range. Will it go into the Watchtower? Yes, into that Watchtower.
So the Oracle is headed northbound up here. And we'll have to see if it does much damage. The Oracle's still got lots of utility after it's done attacking.
He accidentally turned on detection.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Yeah, he just turned on detection.
Wow, wow, wow.
Oops.
Da, da, da. That happened.
He's getting a good look at all the not bird units over there.
This is like a nightmare for Protoss. This is where Protoss looks down in the booth and he's naked and it's a bad dream. No, and he's like, I don't have my backpack for school. And like, this is what this is. Well, oh my God!
It's the same feeling of like when you get over there and you're just like, you're going to do a warp in and you're like, oh my God, I accidentally got +1 for air units. I didn't get warp gate research. Like, oh no.
Oh my God.
Well,
what? I can't even believe that happened.
Well, I mean, he's still got the Oracle, but it's not at home here. He still has plenty of sentries to defend against these slow Lings, though. We'll be at Ling speed soon, but with a Void Ray out too, this should be like no problem to defend that Nexus over there.
Yeah, I mean, he's zoning these Lings out pretty badly. God, I can't believe that happened.
Yeah, it's actually pretty crazy though that happened. Very different hotkeys.
Yeah, he might have him bound differently. I don't know. So the Wallen's all up over here.
Yeah.
And now the Protoss is just applying some pressure here. This is not an all-out attack. And he's just backing up here. He's got to be careful. I mean, he's up pretty far with those sentries. There you go. Bringing those back home to the second base.
And at this moment in time in this game, it's not really a big concern about what army units are on the map for like an attack. In the case of like, oh, now he used a recall, so he doesn't have a Nexus cannon. He's going to be fine. By the time another attack comes his way, he will have that cannon probably or a Time Warp charged up because it's only a small amount of speedlings over here, 38 on the map in total. Not going to give him too much trouble. I like that Stats does this stylistically. He always double Phoenix Scouts to make sure that even if units try to pick them off, he will get all this information. Infestation Pit's so important to see right now. Because now he knows, okay, I'm probably going to be facing Investor Tech. I need to probably get my robotics bay up pretty soon here so I can deal with that.
Yeah. Zerg right now is just going to take this fourth, just play safe. Protoss doing the same thing. We have a lot of gateways up here. And the Warp Prism coming up. So there's a chance for some aggression over here. A nice tight wall there from Stats. Yep. Stats apparently really does not want that gateway to, Life doesn't want that gateway to get done. He does back out. And we're going to have, okay, cool. We're going to have Swarm Hosts.
Yep, Enduring Locusts and 7 Swarm Hosts on the way here. 8, in fact, and this is the best build for the map, a lot of pros would argue, especially given the builds that we've seen here. So Life's going to try to control the map with Swarm Hosts.
It's pretty smart to go Swarm Hosts because when Zerg has the 4th base that we see being made right now, if he gets Swarm Hosts there, he could just send Locusts to any of the bases Protoss can take, and there's not really a lot they can do but try to go around that and harass elsewhere, and that's not an easy thing to do. We got Lings from Life attacking over here, but also the 4th base right now for life is under fire, and I believe it's going to be canceled, especially with these force fields coming down here. The Locust, not useful whatsoever when they can't get past the force fields, or most of them at least. No!
Recall goes home here.
I thought he was going to target that down. Am I incorrect here? I thought he was much closer in taking that down.
I think it was pretty close, but the Lings just became too big of a problem here. You needed to go home because...
Well, here's the problem with this, though, Wolf. It's the fact that he went back there and he didn't gun down the hatch. Okay, it was pretty close, man. I think he should have gotten that hatch because I don't think he's going to. He's not going to be able to get that base as easily for a long ass time.
Yeah, that's because I mean, with those Swarmos now in proper position, it's going to be really difficult to actually get over there. Those Swarmos getting too proper into their position, a little too close.
Yeah, a little bit too aggressive here. Let's see how this works out, though. The Oracle comes up here on the upper right, the Warp Prism here on the upper left, and then the Protoss army. Maybe he can maneuver around the Locust. They're coming down to the left side of the fourth base.
Yeah, even one Swarmos, actually a few Swarmos here in the main base for extra Locust defense. I kind of like that.
Oh, this is really nice.
Nice
he did go around. He did go around. That was beautifully done.
Very well done here. Traps the Lings on the outside, or at least attempts to here, and it's going to eliminate all of these Swarmos, and then can trap the Lings on the outside as well.
Absolutely beautiful play here. Completely walling himself off there. And now looking to the other side. With most of his stalkers here, and the hatch will in fact go down. I got to say, tactically, that was absolutely beautiful there from Stats.
Needs to pull his Colossus back though. That's very vulnerable. I think he might lose it. Oh yeah, it should lose it, but he does get into the main base as well here. Looks like he just wants to try to force down more units.
I got to say, this has been a bumpy game for both these players, to say the least. Both these guys taking big blows. Another recall back there. Regroups. A lot of probes, though, picked off. In the meanwhile, now 57 to the 83 here of Life. Life does need to get a fourth base up and running. Otherwise, there's just it's going to be a 3-base versus 3-base. And keep in mind, he lost a lot of Swarm hosts back there. That really hurts. Out of all the clumps of units you can lose,
that's
just
the type
one
of units
set
that, like, you know, you're so reliant on. It's kind of like your backbone, and you really need to have.
This guy is not a jellyfish, Wolf.
Right.
He's a vertebrae.
Exactly. He's no centipede, man.
Wow. Wait, no, centipedes? Centipedes are...
They're invertebrates.
They're invertebrates. Sure. Yeah, you're right.
You know, he's...
Now I'm, like, freaking out. I'm like, I don't know my bug knowledge very... I'm like...
Well,
I don't know.
You were spot on with the Marsupials earlier, but he needs to warp in some units back at home here. Again, this is Life in a nutshell. Always Ling counterattacks, constantly making you warp in Zealots at home. He's going to find a way into your base, but in this case, he's probably also going to lose his fourth yet again. Maybe it's time to take that base to the top right instead, because he can't seem to hold on to this one.
You know, probe count was shot down there, 54 now to 82, but this third base is not up. We have a lot of Swarm hosts out now. So I think Life will be able to re-secure this base again, but for the meanwhile, Protoss has a very healthy, balanced army.
With good upgrades.
Yeah, with very good upgrades.
And Corruptors coming out here, but so are the Void Rays. He's already got 3 of them. He's going up to 5 now. There are 20 Swarmos. It's almost too many because they're so slow.
It might be what he's stuck doing for the time being, though. If he doesn't get this third base, he's just in a world of hurt. We have another Zealot warping over here. Now, this is really to draw attention for the Zerg away from the main base, the fourth base, so he can attack here into that fourth base, bring attention to the main base.
Honestly, you know, he doesn't know it, but there's such a lack of queens in this game. There's only 6, and I think 3 of those are at those bases. If you could eliminate the queens, you could even start like trying to kill this hatchery with Void Rays and just poking up there and then moving back, poking up and moving back, using his force fields. Because I think he still has a decent amount of sentries left, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't know. I mean, at this point, even if he doesn't kill his base right away, he's killed it so many times he can take his own fourth and feel comfortable here economically. It's not like Life's got some big bank he has to worry about a Mutalisk switch or something. He's pretty comfortable right now.
Well, Life's getting there, though. I mean, with these Swarm hosts for now, if he gets a few more Locust waves over here to this fourth base, I mean, I guess that switch is gonna come, I think, inevitably.
Yeah, eventually it should.
He's got just the distance right now, Stats does on Life, that the Locusts are not quite able to get as far over there. And actually, this is interesting, Stats is just going to go right in here and attack. Meanwhile, Life actually counterattacking with these roaches.
Yeah, Probe's coming out at the perfect moment, actually transferring over to that fourth base. Going to help trap some of those roaches. We'll need a few more units back here. Looks like he's going to try to maybe rely on those Void Rays. I think sending some Zealots back would be a better choice.
I got to say, if Stats can't do anything with this Death Ball, this Protoss Death Ball up here in the front, he's going to be in a lot of trouble because right now Life's banking up actually such a ridiculous amount. But I guess Stats' solution is just to go right in here. He yoinks one Void Ray into that group, but there's still a lot of Void Rays here. Not enough Corruptors really deal with this. And in fact, the Swarm Host, really crazy game here, guys. Swarm Host now going to have to back up again, except for this one Swarm Host. Should have stayed with the group.
It's going to still escape somehow, that Swarm Host, but the attack continues. The 4th base goes down, what, the 3rd time now?
This is a really weird game.
It really is.
I think the Void Ray count's actually high enough, and the Swarm Host count is actually too high.
Yeah, that's what I was saying
He can't
earlier.
deal with the Void Rays.
Exactly. He's got 8 Void Rays to 7 Corruptors. 12 more on the way is going to make it a bit more fair, but Life has to spend his bank on that, so again, he's losing that ability to do like a massive tech switch, but he's killed so many workers. He's constantly killing the workers of Stats. Stats is down to 52 Harvesters right now, and I mean, still stuck on 3 bases is Life, but he's got those free units in the Swarm Host, and I think that's part of the reason why he's made so many of them. He's just trying to somehow break even with the efficiency here. He needs to move those over because his Natural's now under attack. That's the next place Stats is looking to attack.
And Stats, I think this is a pretty decent angle for him to approach into.
Oh, the storm!
Nice! Really
nice.
Another Locust Waves comes out here. It looks like Stats not confident he could take that out. Is there does the Protoss not have a Mothership Core? Okay, he does. I don't know where it is. It's not with this army. I thought he was going to be.
I think it's at home.
Maybe at the 4th. Try to use the Nexus Cannon there.
He's going to have to warp units again here.
He's got to be careful in some of these engagements because if he does lose his army here, he's in for a lot of hurt.
Okay, is he going to get this base again? He does get it canceled, but this is a lot of Corruptors.
We need to 25. Nice storm on the Corruptors, and that's one of the things that's going to drive him out every time that Stats pokes in.
25 Corruptors, soon to be 26 with one more lone Corruptor on the production tab. All right, there's that Prismatic Alignment. He's going to start engaging this a little bit here. Stalkers are helping out. 1 or 2 more storms could actually easily turn the tide here.
Whoa,
Stalkers
are
accidentally
what's
got
your story?
Yeah. He's got so many storms. Look how many High Templar he has in there.
Well, it's actually quite beautiful because he can hit both the Locusts and the Corruptors with it.
Yeah, with one storm, he hits air and ground.
Yeah, and so he just basically occupies this spot. In fact, we have drones long-distance mining now. I think Life may be in some trouble here in the long run. I mean, it's funny when you see the fundamental burden of an RTS game is balancing the supply, since this game caps you at it. And Protoss is just barely doing enough. We have Lings now hitting over here. And let's not forget, by the way, Stats is very low on workers, and he's not well defended. Yeah. I'm just starting to wonder how much more time Zerg has here with this. Nice uses the Colossi. Again, he does take out the majority of these Void Rays, so they're very susceptible now. Does he have enough storms?
I don't know. That's the question here. He gets them tagged, but
I don't think he does. He just not have storm? We don't see this.
Have any energy.
We're not getting a shot of the energy here, so I'm under the impression he just does not. And
okay, well now he does at least. And that one Void Ray can actually fight all those Corruptors with how low they are. But
okay, so up here, Zerg's almost out.
He's solo on drones too. He's only at 47 Harvesters.
And most important is the long distance mining part. Now, granted, Life's done a very good job harassing the Protoss, but the Protoss, at least with his probes, can just mine from bases that are very mineral rich.
Yeah.
And we have 3 Garkons being made, which is going to be fantastic against the Corruptors above them. But the Swarm Host with the Locust coming down here, that's pretty scary. I'm confused. Does he not have? I wish we would get a shot of the energy here on the Templars. I'm really under the impression we would have a lot of storms.
I think he has a lot. I don't know.
There we go.
I'm almost wondering, like, is he just feeling like this is not efficient and he wants to save them? Because, I mean, one storm like this doesn't even kill the Locusts, but it obviously helps out.
It buys time,
yeah,
at least for a little bit here.
And
you got to think about how valuable time is right now for the Zerg. The Zerg does not have a hatch at that base at the upper right, so he's still going to be mining long distance. The base over there in the 4th, not done yet.
Yeah.
If Protoss could just use a few Psy Storms, nice job there with the rocks.
Yeah, he saved those till the last second.
Yeah, that was really good. If he can do a timing up here and get up to this 4th base, he could do it. He may have to try to out-position the Zerg, because right now with the Corruptors and the Swarm Host now, 4th base almost done. Okay, this is exactly what he needs to do. He sends Zealots up one way, Stalkers up another way. Remember, Zerg is not mining from a base just yet. So as you can see, he's just, what, 4 minerals, 9 minerals now, 14. So he can't really, he has to use just what he has here.
This is so smart, by the way, these spine crawlers. I really, really like that. This Nexus is getting pretty low. He targets it smartly, and he will get it.
Nice
Very
job
nice
there. Also important to note is that the Protoss can still mine from his third. It's not dried up like these other bases. Some Zealots coming over here. You know what? Life has now got this 4th base up, Wolfman. I mean, this means I think Life is just barely tipped the scale here. I got to say, talk about being really scrappy here from Life. I was pretty confident Stats to be able to come up with something. In the meanwhile, I think this little aggressive move here with the Zealots and the Stalkers should have come a little bit sooner.
Yeah, I think so too. Stats has this really big problem now too, that not only does Life have a 4th base, but he doesn't have a 4th base.
Yeah.
And now he has to make a decision, like almost like stand my ground and try to take the 4th again, or try to end the game right now. But ending the game seems so difficult against this many Corruptors. Also, those Swarmos. Zergling's going to block this hatch. The Swarmos mean that he has to engage straight up with all of his units together. He has to get really nice storms to fight this. There's a lot of Infestors over here as well. 9 Infestors to help deal with this Void Rays. And if the Void Rays are gone, I just don't think he's going to be able to break through.
Well, maybe he's going to get some... Oh, well, let's see. Hold that thought. If the Zealots actually go to the 4th base, by the way, that's not defended. I don't know if they're going to go there. But that's something to keep in mind. Storm's coming down here. He actually has to back up again.
Yeah.
Really great PVZ here from these guys. Really
very
close.
back and forth.
Yeah, one of the more dramatic PVZs I've casted in a little while here.
Is this his moment? A great fungal there. Locks those Archons from getting where they need to be. But they're starting to get unlocked here. They're getting really close. Roaches are defending that base in the middle, but there's so much Colossus.
Life is on the run here.
He really is, man.
Roach is unable to assist for the time being as those Zealots attack forward here. Life right now at 111 supply.
He needs that next wave of Locust. He needs it. He burrows here, and here it comes.
I think this Locust, might be I mean, it's kind of tricky to say.
It's so close right now.
Is he just going to sack the 4th here? I think he is, actually.
And you know what? Still no 4th base for Stats. He hasn't retaken that base to the bottom left.
Okay, so now Stats is long distance mining. Really exciting game, by the way, with these two. This is really back and forth. Okay, so we have 2 players that are not mining right now. Now we have one that gets free units.
The problem
is the Locust from the Stormhost, but at the same time, Protoss has a lot of good spells. Yes, Zerg has Infestor Sewer, but Storm very strong specifically against the Locust as they come at him.
And the thing is,
also, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
There's not enough money for a Nexus or a hatchery
exactly.
at either base, so this is going to get really interesting.
So whoever gets the money first is really important, because in this particular case, Stats has the army that is going to be able to defend a Nexus as soon as he can buy one. And Life has an army that's really good defensively, but he has no money to make a hatchery.
Also, got to point out 56 probes to 15 drones. So
15 harvesters only.
I think from there, I believe Stats, I mean, this has been really back and forth, but I believe Stats should be able to win this simply because he gets the Nexus up, and he has an answer to the Locust. And you can see Protoss pokes up here. It says, oh, no 4th. I'll just back up. Yep. Very good. Even a little bit of kiting here with the Archons. Really making sure no matter what, they have the energy they need. This really goes to show you the combination of Splash. Really obliterates the... he's got to be careful, man. I don't know if this is smart.
Yeah, I don't know
if he should be doing this. This is actually completely needed because his Fungals are actually... If he keeps this up, they're going to have to zone him out with the Storms. If he gets Fungling these Void Rays...
so low!
Oh my god, did Stats just blunder this?
Oh, he's got to get like 1 more!
And they're starting to split up!
Oh, it's so low, so low, so low. He needs to stay back, get out of there. There's so many Locusts on the ground now. And the Void Rays do survive, but oh, that was almost too much. Will he get 1? No.
Come back here.
1 health on that Void Ray.
I mean, I think Stats, well, I guess there's no way for Stats to know how many drones Zerg has.
Yeah, I don't think he really knows. It's only 1 Infestor, though. He needs more than that. And the Nexus has been started.
This is a great game.
This is the best game today by far.
This is the hardest kind of StarCraft games, too, because, I mean, really the amount of information, this is... You could spend your whole life practicing, but one of these games, this is one of a kind.
Yeah, it certainly is, man.
And it's really hard. Okay, so he says, all right, I can cut off drones over here.
I think now he's starting to realize...
Oh, this is cute.
Well, I think he's starting to realize, like, wait a minute, you just don't have any mining. You don't really have anything going on for you at all. Like, I go over here to harass, and there's, like, just nothing to kill.
I think that Nexus just finished.
It's very close.
Very, very close, okay.
He's going to do a big invested Terran drop back here. But he needs to wait until it does finish because he doesn't want to like do it until the probes are actually all together.
He has to. He wants to get a kill, not a cancel. Much more important. He'll also get a lot more probes shut down.
Exactly.
And is Life going to be patient? Is Life going to be patient down here? At the,
he could even also like double fungal the workers once they're all stacked up. That's something he
threw
do.
the infested Terrans down.
All right, they're down. He's targeting it. Nexus Cannon is on it as well. And he's even fighting with probes. I think it should survive.
I think he probably should have gone for probes here. This is
too much armor on that Nexus.
There's just no way that he's going to be able to get the Nexus there. I think that's going to be it now.
Yeah, if he keeps his...
I think the play from Life was really smart there with the infested Terrans, but there's just more than enough.
It's a desperation move. Desperate times call for desperate measures, but now he knows all his infestors are out of energy, and that's going to trigger an attack here, I think. He's like, okay, you just blasted all your energy into my Nexus, and you didn't kill it. I have mining, and you don't. There's no way you can hold on much longer. He's going to cut through this location so he can get a high ground vantage point over these locusts.
I think from here he just gets up into the main.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to get all the rest of the tech. What? Oh. No, please. Okay.
We've had a few moments like that today.
Yeah. Definitely a couple.
He's actually just not overextending. He's like just playing so safe. He's like, all right, kill base. I'm out of here. He does not leave anything to chance.
For Life right now, this is really draining. I mean, this is really crappy.
Oh, he found him. That is probably just going to be it.
GG. Stats wins game number 1.
What a crazy, great first game, though.
Best game we've casted all day today. And we already casted one whole full Code 8, by the way, guys. Yeah. We've casted a lot. This is easily the best one.
One of the best games of the week, too.
Yeah, really back and forth there. Really interesting to see, how exactly the two players were dealing with the lack of a fourth base for a while. I have to say it was a surprising number of locusts to see there from Life, and he definitely didn't quite have enough corruptors for a little bit there to hold the fourth. He didn't have enough to take on the air units. Stats, there were some shaky moments there, but that games like that's what StarCraft's all about. Those are the most beautiful StarCraft games you can ask for, is low econ end game scenarios.
Right, and just all about control and decision making. I feel like some of the best decisions we saw Stats make was just knowing exactly when he could move forward to attack. He always was very confident with his army. Life's Locust never really scared him away. He knew when not to storm, when to storm, when to actually start pushing forward. And his confidence against the Corruptors as well was very notable. I feel like there were moments where I was like, oh, that's way too many Corruptors. We just storm them, was careful with his Void Rays, knew when to engage, when it was time to pull back, drop another storm. And he timed his attacks against the Locust spawning very, very well. Now, what map do you think Life's going to pick here?
I'm not entirely sure.
I feel like it's going to be Overgrowth.
Could be. Maybe a tried and true map. We've seen a lot of that map. That may be the way he wants to go. Funny because I feel like Life was just a little bit bumpy. Actually, Stats too, now that I'm thinking about it, there was an Oracle that went into detection mode.
There was also all the Link counterattacks that he was failing to defend for a really long time in the mid-game. Life counterattacked him with Lings like 8 times, and it seems like 8 out of 8 times he actually got into the base.
Well, that was such a cool game because it really was so neck and neck. There's like, 1 second we're like, well, maybe he should pull through with this, and then a little bit later we're like, well, these Ling attacks are doing damage. And then we said, well, Zerg doesn't have a fourth, but then the other player doesn't have an answer for the Locust, and I think we have one of our players on a quick restroom break here. So
yeah, I think it's going to be Stats. Wow, we're in the dark.
Hi guys.
Aw.
I think it's really cool if we just cast like shadows.
Yeah.
Like just you don't know who we are at any point in time.
We'll be revealed
when
like
we get
in
on
the third
camera
CD.
and we're all blacked out. They change our voices like when we're in the news and we want to protect our identity. I'm like, welcome to the GSL.
Nobody knows who we are until like you find out our true identity.
You're like, wait a minute, is that the shape of Tassus's and Wolf's head?
Find out when you get to the third CD of the game. Where it's like, please insert disc 3, and then like you're that far in the game, and you're like, oh my god, it was Tassus all along.
You're like, wait a minute, we should have known. We hear his cast. We watch StarCraft, and oh my god, I guess that was his voice all along. It was the same voice actor. The guy who's on camera is the same voice actor as the guy who's in the game.
Yeah. How sick is that? It's super realistic.
Crazy.
Man. Super duper realistic.
And then the next twist is we were dead all along.
Yeah.
And also, Twitch chat, it's like, the game was dead all along. That's my... That was,
I thought you were going to say...
The game was dead all along.
Well, what we also knew was like that also not only were we dead all along, but we also had amnesia and we forgot everything and then we remembered it at the end.
Yeah. And then you're my father. And then you're my father, Wolf.
Yeah. And
I'm like, no!
And also that like you're my father too at the same time.
No!
Because I time
I don't want either
like,
of these things. Yeah. I don't know how long we're going to be talking for.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I think it's a restroom break, but...
no, it is a restroom break.
Oh, okay.
No, for sure. Because I don't think we had any shots of life in there for a little bit. So I don't blame him for, even if it's not a restroom break, but just a break. I mean, after a game like that, like you start out the day and you're like, oh, my God, I had 100 supply for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And the Protoss didn't have a base along with me. And
it's pretty stressful. And
it's also not the kind of game that Life wants to be playing.
No. Well, there's also limited information as well that both players didn't know. They're both timid at times, or they could have taken advantages that we knew about, but they didn't know about, and that's what's really stressful.
It's funny because a lot of StarCraft is watching the games and seeing that, like we're like, well, I mean, he should know here what's going to happen because they've played thousands and thousands of games where you should know where you're at. But in that game, you don't get a lot of games where there's that exact unit comp and nobody has a fourth base.
Yeah.
Neither player can really tell how many workers have been taking it. Even Life hitting the probes. I mean, he's not watching the probes the entire time. He is trying to hold off a giant Protoss death ball from killing him.
Exactly.
And it's going back and forth. And a lot of times in the end, it's tricky to know who's actually ahead. So it's a lot of fun to cast games like that.
Yeah, it certainly is a lot of fun to cast, a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Very stressful for the players to play, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But they're making a show for us. It's really
fun to cast, actually.
Yeah.
I love it.
I hope we get to see a very similar game to that coming up on this next map.
I hope so. Doesn't happen too often, but it would be really nice to have more games like that here. We just got to wait. There were a lot of hiccups there from both sides.
Yeah, sure.
It was weird to see that many Swarm hosts.
Yeah, he went up to 20.
Yeah.
That's a lot, and that really hurt his air presence because then he couldn't really deal with the Void Rays or the Colossi.
I'm still thinking about more weird jokes we could have when we were not, the lights were not on and we were put on camera.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that too. What if the lights came back on and we were actually like controlling puppets, and it wasn't us there, but they really looked like us? So you
what if it was really weird and actually one of the secrets to casting and being successful is I get under the desk, and you have puppets, and then we talk to each other like this, even though we're not on camera. Yeah. It's like this really weird.
It's like one of those things that we have to do. It's like a tradition.
Yeah.
It's like all casters do this. Like
all the great casters, when they're not on camera, go under the table, and then when no one is looking, we just do this in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And I got my little Kermit the Frog hand with my guy over here. I'm like, whoa, Wolf, great game. And then I'm like, get back up here. I'm like, all right, guys, we're back.
That's why sometimes when the camera comes on us a bit suddenly, we go like this. It's because we just had to get out from under the table. That's where we were.
It's not because I'm making out with stats on the screen when I'm like, stats, I was so good.
Wasn't like that.
No, that's not.
That was definitely not the reason.
How long are we going to be talking for? All right, he's back. Yeah, he's back in the booth now.
So, yeah.
Game number 2, we don't know the map.
Well, we find out very shortly.
Yeah.
The lobby's been re-hosted over there. I can see it. So
we're going to get this going.
I really feel like it's going to be Overgrowth. That is the map.
It's not a bad bet. I have no clue for these guys. Life is going to have to pull it together here, though. I don't think we're going to have another Life game like that today.
No, I don't
That's
think so.
not normally the situation Life's in.
Do you think he might actually do an all-in here, game number 2, like a big speedling attack or something like that? That's kind of how he does best of threes. Like he'll throw something like that in.
It totally could happen. I mean, Life's been known to do all sorts of crazy stuff. Anyways, guys, game number 2 here between Stats and Life is ready to go. And it's going to be on the map Overgrowth.
That it is. I expected this. It's a map that we see picked always. Like, there was one time that it wasn't picked against Protoss for a Zerg player who lost, and it was Life. And he picked Frost, but Frost isn't in the map pool anymore, so he can only pick Overgrowth. It only makes sense.
Good call with that, Wolf. Overgrowth here. Map pick here for Life. Stats has got to be happy, even though that last game had a rough start. It had a great finish. One of the best games all week here in the GSL Code A. Game number 2, ready to go.